We know Bitcoin has been plummeting for this whole year, and that leads to a lot more problems for the entire industry, including Bitcoin mining, as a lot of these companies are going to have lots of problems coming up. We've already seen lots of them declare bankruptcy and go into bankruptcy, but yet another one of the biggest miners in North America, is declaring bankruptcy, and they are going to try to keep operations running, but they're not going to pay their debts. And this was a massive Bitcoin mining company to start with. You can see right here, you can see their market capitalization has fallen to $78 million as of the end of trading Tuesday, down from $4.3 billion valuation in July 2021 when the company went public through a SPAC, and the stock has fallen more than 98% in the last year. So even though Bitcoin isn't down 98%, and these companies that work on Bitcoin are, is because these guys have taken on a lot more leverage. They've tried to expand very fast. And if we look at the hash rate here, we can see that the hash rate has been going up. Even though we turn the price back on, the price has been going down, hash rate has been going up. So for miners, that makes it way harder to actually mine Bitcoin and be profitable. Only the best miners are going to survive. And this is what happens every single cycle. As hash rate goes up and price goes down, only the fittest and best in shape businesses will come out the other side, and the ones that weren't so good, they're going to go away. And going on that being a healthy business, Core said that they had previously said in a filing in October that holders of its common stock could suffer a total loss of their investment, but that may not be the case if the overall industry recovers. So the longer that Bitcoin price hovers at around $17,000, a lot more of these companies we're going to see start to go under, that over leverage themselves, that took on too much to expand too quickly. And that's kind of like how a recession works. It's kind of like Bitcoin's form of a recession. If you're not the healthiest company to make it through, then you're not going to make it through. And kind of even crazier, they said the company also disclosed that it would not make its debt payments coming due in late October and early November, and said that the creditors were free to sue the company for non-payment. Completely going out, instead of saying we're going to try and do this, we're going to try and pay, they're just saying we're not paying, you can sue us if you want. The money apparently is not there. Pretty crazy approach to that. I can't imagine a company going out and saying, you know, we're not going to pay you, sue us if you want, you're the bottom of the problem list for us. And for this Bitcoin mining, you can see this is the hash rate right here, and then this is the difficulty. So the reason things get a lot harder when we have a situation like this with price going down, hash rate going up, is because as hash rate goes up, difficulty goes up, which means you get less Bitcoin for your ability to mine it, because it's a lot harder to mine. So it takes a lot more energy, takes a lot more hashing power, and you just start to get less rewards. You have to join bigger pools, so it lowers your rewards, or your energy cost goes up. You have to plug in more machines, buy more machines, so your costs go up. So something of that happens, and you can see how these are directly correlated. As hash rate goes up, difficulty goes up too. Hash rate goes down, difficulty goes down, and we're starting to see the hash rate keeping going down. So this will have another adjustment down probably pretty soon. But you can see this is more constant. It's not spiky. So this is more constant scheduled, the difficulty, whereas the hash rate doesn't have to be so constant. It actually fluctuates quite a bit. And Core goes over those exact problems, saying operating performance and liquidity have been severely impacted by the prolonged decrease in the price of Bitcoin, the increase in electricity costs, and the increase in the global Bitcoin network hash rate. So what we just said, this stuff right here, as the hash rate goes up, it gets harder, the difficulty gets more and more. And if you're not a healthy, sustainable business, if you're over levered, that can really come back to bite you. But it doesn't even end there. Their problems aren't even only with Bitcoin. They were also connected to the crypto lender Celsius that filed for bankruptcy. We all know that. When Celsius debts were wiped out during its bankruptcy proceedings, that put a strain on Core's balance sheet, in yet another example of the contagion effect rippling across the crypto sector this year. So we're just getting more and more examples of this contagion. Even Bitcoin mining companies were connected to these companies having some sort of debt with them or loans out to them, and now that money's gone. And that really affects them because they could probably really use that money right now. And even a couple more of these companies and Bitcoin mining companies that are having problems or declared bankruptcy were things like Compute North. They provide hosting services and infrastructure for crypto mining. They filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy in September. Marathon Digital Holdings reported an $80 million exposure to Compute North. So that's even more kind of contagion there. These mining companies are even entangled in each other. So when one gets wiped out or goes bankrupt, the other one also has problems if they have loans outstanding to them. So not only just the exchanges are entangled together, even the miners for Bitcoin were entangled together, which is kind of crazy because I would have never thought they'd have a reason to loan money to each other and try and play that game. They're competing against each other. And then even more, Greenridge Generation, they reported a second quarter net loss of more than $100 million. And then Argo shares plunged 60% after they announced on October 31st that they plan to raise $27 million with a strategic investor was no longer happening. There's quite a bit of problems going on in the Bitcoin mining industry, and the longer Bitcoin stays at a lower price, the harder that these margins get squeezed, and the worse off businesses that are over leveraged or not really prepared to take on a lower revenue, they are going to get hit the hardest. And we're already seeing them. We're already seeing a lot of them declare bankruptcy, even though it's Chapter 11, so it's a reorganization. Maybe they come out healthy, maybe not. But either way, you never want to go into any type of bankruptcy. And we can look at Core's stock too, because just looking at this stock, it is ridiculous to see what has gone on with this stock. When it IPO'd over here at around $11, kind of stuck and hovered around $9 here, $9, $10, and then had a big rocket up to $15, and then just plummeted all the way down, a straight slide down to 5 cents where it is, and it was down 75% today and up 40% in after hours. I don't know what's going on with this stock. It's flying all over the place, but to see a chart like this, to go from $15 to 5 cents in a relatively short period of time is insane. And in terms of hash rate, they had about 5% of the entire global hash rate, so not a ton, but a good amount for one company to have. The good news is the hash rate will get more decentralized, and the bad news is short term, it's going to push the hash rate down if they unplug machines. So contagion doesn't stop at things like FTX and Celsius and these exchanges. That goes even into the Bitcoin mining companies that had exposure to not only these exchanges that went bankrupt, but also exposure to other Bitcoin miners that went bankrupt too. So right now, the longer Bitcoin price stays suppressed, the more problems these miners are going to have. And at the end of the day, it's just going to make the mining industry hopefully stronger. It should come out the other side. The healthy, good businesses will come out no problem. The bad ones that shouldn't really have been around to begin with probably will end up going away. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. You need a new outro because we've actually hit 1,000 subscribers. So 10,000 next.